In this video, I'm going to be showing you how to open and save pictures in Photoshop. So I already have a picture pulled up here, but I'm going to open a second picture, and it's a pretty simple task. Like most software files that you have on your computer, you're going to go up to the File tab in the top left corner, and that's where you're going to find your Open feature. So if you go up to the top left for File, and you click File, and you go down to Open, it's going to pull up your file folder. So I'm just going to open up any old picture here, open it up, and your picture should be there ready for you to edit. So you can bring in a JPEG file, which is usually what, when you take a picture with the camera, it will save it as and bring it right into Photoshop to edit. So now that I've got that open, I'm going to make just one little edit just so that I have a difference in my picture. So when I save it, Photoshop will recognize that it has been changed. So now let's say I'm done editing the picture. I've got everything I've wanted to do, and I need to save it. I'm going to show you how to save it into two different formats, and then I'll explain how there's a difference between them. So if you go back up to File, and I like to save as, so I can save it as a completely new picture. I'll save as, and you can see that the default is it wants to save it as a Photoshop file. The Photoshop file is what is going, like if you were to double click on one of these files, it's going to take you straight back into Photoshop. So it's going to take you into Photoshop, and you can make edits on that picture. It's what's compatible with the software. So I'm going to save one like that. So let's go ahead and click Save. And you can see there's progress up at the top. It usually goes by pretty quick, and I should have a copy of that in my file folder. Now I'm going to go back up to File and Save As. And I'm going to save it as a JPEG this time, because remember I said that's a pretty common picture format. So save it as a JPEG, and I'll press Save, and I'm going to give myself, just change it a bit so I don't save over that. And you'll notice that when the JPEG pops up, or when you save as JPEG, this is going to pop up for you. It's going to be JPEG options. Personally, I keep it at the same for every picture. There's quality 10, it says maximum, and it's never really failed me so far. But of course, if you play around with it, you may find that you like other options for saving. But just go ahead and click OK. And again, you see some progress at the top, and it saves pretty quickly. So now we should have two different versions of this picture. Same picture, but in different format. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to exit out of this picture, and you can see before we exit, we've got our one edit that we made. We had an extra layer here that is added by that edit, but I'm going to go ahead and close out of it, and I'm going to go back and open up the picture in both formats. So I'm going to first open my JPEG version. So this is my JPEG version that I named. I'm going to open it, and you can see that it looks just like what I saved it as. But I'm starting essentially with a clean slate. I'm starting with no ability to change the edits that I made. But if I go to Open, and I open the Photoshop file version, you can see that my layer is still there. So I can still mess with the edits that I made, even if I had closed out of the program, if I save it in that file. So let's say you go to continue editing and you decide you don't like that brightness and contrast. You can go ahead and delete it, turn off the visibility, whatever it is that you want to do with it. But when you save it as the Photoshop file, it makes it so that you can continue editing, and it makes it a non-destructive edit, which means it's not stuck that way forever. So really, it's up to your preference, but it gets really easy to save in both the JPEG and the Photoshop file. It's just a matter of what you're doing. So if you're still editing, I'd suggest saving as a Photoshop, but if you are done with the picture, saving as a JPEG will allow you to export it. So that's how you save and how you will open photos in Photoshop.